All right, next question. Is building entity assets on Web2 platforms a spammy practice? No, no. Building entity assets on Web2, you mean like branded assets, brand extensions? No, that's a common practice and it's normal. Why wouldn't a company want to get listed? And that is precisely what Brand Expander is about, guys. I'm telling you, it works incredibly well. People don't think that that's a valid strategy. It is. You build brand authority by getting the company listed on as many platforms, and it's not just the quantity, it's also the quality of that profile. Like that's why we teach in Brand Expander. It's not that we're doing a high quantity of them, we're doing high quality profile development. Like in other words, we create profiles on various platforms and it shows people that our trainer Essie, who manages that program for us, she teaches every other week when she does an update webinar a property or two where she goes and shows here's how you create a profile, here's how you optimize it, here's how you interlink it, etc. That's over time. If you could do that consistently, you build a massive amount of brand authority to a specific location. That's the whole point. It's a way to improve branded location authority, if that's clear. And it's very, very powerful when done properly. And it's not something, again, uh, um, it's not a spammy practice. It is, if you go out and just get a blast of social media and web twos, like from some of those like high volume, like Fiverr gigs and things like that, right? Where they'll give you 300 Web 2.0s and they're optimized very terribly, like in social profile links and all that kind of stuff. Like those are typically done very poorly, and those just they're ignored. Like Google doesn't even pay attention to those. That's why you don't see those types of links, at least in Majestic backlink analysis. You do in some of the other ones like SEMrush and Ahrefs where they show literally everything. Majestic has its own in filter. That's what they call the historic index and the fresh index. And the fresh index is only looking at links that have some measurable value. And so it will omit from the backlink reports a lot of links that Majestic has deemed are worthless or useless, low quality. And so that's why you don't see a lot of those types of Web2 links in backlink profiles. And until and unless you start to build some authority to those profiles, which is why I recommend that you focus on a lower volume but much higher quality profile development. Like, in other words, fully build them out, brand them properly, add a decent business description, and interlink with other branded and supporting assets. Because, and then building links to them is critically important too to get Google to pay attention to them, which is, again, I've talked about this many times on the Hump Day Hangouts, but you guys can just add the profile URLs to a G Sheet that gets embedded into the ID page and use your ID page as the link building target so that you can build a lot of links and link authority and relevance into the ID page, which then will distribute out across all of the sites that are referenced within the ID page. That makes sense. Okay. So that's how I recommend doing it because you're going to get better traction with it that way than just like, again, buying, 300 social profile links from Fiverr or Legit or something like that is not typically helpful. Um, so we recommend just doing a lower volume, but just spending much more time. That's why the Brand Expander training program, which is very inexpensive, is literally set up for you to plug one of your VAs into, your virtual assistants or employees or whatever into, and that let them handle that, right? Because it's just something you do consistently over time, and it accrues authority over time that way. It works well. Moving on.